I'm Kathleen Arola-Johnson of Creative Solace Studios. In this episode of my top 5 in 5 minutes, we'll be talking about my top 5 miracle morning practices. Have you heard about Hal Elrod's miracle morning idea? It's a series of 6 practices to do first thing in the morning. By doing them in the beginning of the day, it primes you to have the best day possible. I like it because it aligns my energy, focuses my intentions, organizes my thoughts, and puts me in a great mood. It helps me a lot. Here's how it works. There are 6 main categories, and they form the acronym SAVERS, S-A-V-E-R-S. You can do each one of those categories for the length of time that you choose, and you can choose the specific activity that you do. They can be done in any order. You get to customize your own plan and design what works for you. Within each of these topics and savers, I will tell you my top 5 ways to practice them. I choose one of those things to do each day. They're the things that I find to be fulfilling. In this edition of the Top 5 in 5 Minutes, here are my top 5 miracle morning practices. The S in SAVERS stands for silence. I like to do this while I'm still in bed in the morning, before I even get up. The 5 ways that I like to practice this are meditation, doing my own personal meditation, deep breathing, body scan, where I'm going through each area of my body, being in tune with it and relaxing those muscles, guided meditation, and audio that I listen to, and lastly, petting the dogs. Who can resist a nice calming moment with your puppies first thing in the morning? The A in SAVERS stands for affirmations. There are several different ways that I like to do this. First is a one-word adjective affirmation. For example, saying I am, and then filling in the blank with one word to describe myself. Second, I like to write my own longer affirmation, stated in the form of I already have something or I am already experiencing something, rather than I want something or I'm hoping for something. Next, I like to use Louise Hay's affirmations, particularly the ones that relate different parts of the body to different concepts within yourself to heal. The 4th way that I like to use affirmations is to choose the same one for an amount of time, maybe a week or just until I feel like I've worked on that concept enough. The last way that I like to use affirmations is to write them down in my journal, in my planner, so I can see them every time I look at it and be reminded of them. The V in SAVERS stands for visualization. There are 5 steps in the way that I do this. First, I close my eyes. Second, I visualize myself doing my miracle morning practice that day. Third, I choose one easy thing from my morning routine, such as taking a shower, or brushing my teeth, or getting dressed, and I visualize myself doing that. From there, I choose some key points that I plan to do that day. Days don't always turn out exactly like we plan, but it's nice to have a roadmap to think of where the day might lead me. I picture myself doing these different activities in sequence until I get to the end of the day. Lastly, I really pay attention to embodying the feelings of doing these particular actions throughout my day, and that rounds out my daily visualization. The E in SAVERS stands for exercise. There are so many different ways that you can exercise. The 5 that I like to do the most often are as follows. I do some hand exercises that are therapeutic for me. I also like to walk around my backyard in a big clockwise circle around the perimeter of the space. I also like to do some stretching, sometimes while sitting on my exercise ball. Sometimes I do yoga, and sometimes I like to walk to the mailbox. The R in Savers stands for reading. There's 5 different ways that I like to do this the most often. First is I choose a book that has a different segment to read for each day of the year. Secondly, I can read a longer book and just read as much as I want each day. Third, sometimes I like to look up inspiring quotations. Or fourth, sometimes I read enlightening articles that are uplifting. The 5th way that I sometimes choose to read in the morning is healthy newsletters. I organize my inbox so they're filtered into folders so I don't get distracted by other email and just look at some healthy topics for that morning. The last S in Savers stands for scribing or writing. There's a bunch of different ways that I like to do this. I usually either choose to write this as notes in my phone or in a journal. One way that I like to write in the morning is to write a poem. Just something that's on my mind for that day. Next, I like to write personal insights about myself. There's something about being a little sleepy earlier in the morning when it can flow better about some things that I'm working on or processing within myself. I also like to keep a dream journal about what I dream during the night. Another way of scribing is to write in an idea journal. I do this by just brainstorming about anything I might be interested in trying or doing or thinking about. The last way that I can write in the morning is in a regular journal, either just free form or answering some questions as I'm writing. These are the top 5 ways that I do each of the Miracle Morning Savers practices. It really helps to set my day off to a good start.